Hello everyone, welcome to Southern Wreaths. If you haven't yet, please subscribe to my channel. Today I'm going to make this really adorable Conversation Hearts Valentine's wreath. These are the supplies I'm going to use to make this wreath. I also use a sign that I got from Dollar Tree. I'm going to start by adding pipe cleaners to my wire frame. This is a 14-inch wire frame, so I'm going to put 14 pipe cleaners on it. You can add more or less depending on how full you want your wreath to be. I find that if I'm adding ruffles and ribbon, that 14 is the perfect amount. If you're just doing poofs, then you would want to add more. So I'm just going to add a pipe cleaner to each crossbar on the inside. And for the outside, I'm going to pick just a random crossbar. And I'm adding my pipe cleaner and I'm going to twist it 3 times. You want to try to make it as even as possible on either side. It's not a huge deal if it's off a little bit. And then I'm just going to lay that along the frame, and then where it ends is where I'm adding my next pipe cleaner. And I'll do this all the way around. And at the end, my last one lines up perfect with the first one I put down. So I'm going to use this 21-inch, it's like a metallic iridescent white mesh as my base. I really wanted to bring some white into this wreath to break up the pink and purple. And I'm just going to attach it to the base to the left of a pipe cleaner with a zip tie. I found that this has been a little bit easier than putting it to the other side of the pipe cleaner like I used to. So it's up to you. It's just personal preference, whichever way you like it. And then I'll just trim everything away. And you don't necessarily have to do a base of 21-inch mesh. You can always do a just ruffles. And there I was just measuring it to see that I was pulling at 12 inches just to make sure as I'm going around I'm looking at the first poof. Because you can kind of get an idea of how much you've pulled off after you make the poof. Because if it's bigger or smaller, of course. And then just after a while you can just fill. I think Hardworking Mom, she counts to 3. 1, 2, 3. And then where it ends. But hers might be 10 inches. I'm not sure. But I'm used to making 12-inch poofs, so that's just where my hand automatically goes. And you can either do like me where you fluff the poofs as you go along, or you can just do it at the end. Either way is fine. I went ahead and done all of the poofs on the outside, and now I'm going to find the closest pipe cleaner and add my mesh into it, just twisting once. And now I'll continue making my 12-inch poofs all around the middle. And it's helpful if you open your pipe cleaners before you go, or even if you're using a work wreath form, you'll want to open your ties before you go around. Okay, so to add it, once I get back to the beginning, is I just open the pipe cleaner back up and add the mesh in, so it's seamless. Once I trim that away, I'm going to push the poofs to either side and push the mesh through the back to the back of the frame. That just makes it easier. And now I'll just attach it to the frame with the zip tie. And then trim everything away. I'm using this beautiful metallic, like all metallic pink mesh and this purple mesh. It's hard to see, but the lines in it are the same pink as the other mesh. So these go together perfectly. And I'm just going to cut them together because it's easier. And I'm cutting them at 24 inches. And if you have a cutting mat and you notice that at the beginning of your cutting mat where you always cut, like on number 1, gets really messed up with lots of lines in it, do like me and grab it and just keep your finger there and push it to a number in the middle that doesn't have a lot of lines and cut it that way. I know they're supposed to be self-healing, but after a while, there's really nothing you can do. Okay, so I cut enough to do every other section, so I only needed to cut 7. So 7 purple, 7 pink, because I have 14 ties. And I just like to put something heavy on it and then gather everything together. And this mesh was fraying, and I know the pink mesh frays, so I'm just going to tuck the beginning and the end under. And I'll show you that again when I do the next ruffle. Now I'm just opening my tie to add my mesh. And I'm only twisting once since I'm going to add ribbon. And then I just like to fluff the mesh around to make a circle. I think it looks prettier. Okay, so here I just sped it up a little bit, but you tuck that part under, and then you just gather it, and then you tuck the bottom part in. And I'm just going to add that in the same way I did the purple. And I'm doing every other, so I'll do purple, pink, going around. You can add both colors to each section if you want. I just didn't find it necessary because the mesh was so pretty. I didn't want it mixed up with the other mesh. I just liked how it was separate. And now I'm just going to cut my ribbons. I have this really pretty purple, it kind of looks like denim. And since I had an odd number of ribbons, I'm cutting 5 of the purples, 6 of the pinks, and then 6 of the conversation hearts, because I'll need 28 pieces of ribbon. And if you wanted to add like the same ribbon to each section, then you would just do the math and do your own way of adding ribbons. I just wanted to put 2 in each section, so that's why I did it this way. And I didn't have enough of the purple to do 6 on the gingham, and these are the ribbons I'm using. Look how pretty this wreath is. I fell in love with it, and I don't really like girly colors, but that is beautiful. So I went through and I stacked the ribbon the way I want to add it. A little tip, when you're stacking it, try to keep in mind what colors are beside each other. If you stack your ribbon, you might not. I didn't want a lot of pink and pink together. I didn't want a lot of purple and purple together. And I tried to put the pink ribbon on the purple mesh and the purple ribbon on the pink mesh. And I didn't want the conversation hearts all in one area. I tried to spread them out. And that only applies if you mix your ribbon. I didn't have any two the same, or I tried not to. They're all mixed together. And I like to fluff my ribbon in an X. So the way I add my ribbon is I take it and make sure it's kind of as even as possible on either end. I fold it in half, and where it creases, I pinch it, kind of fluff out the ribbon a little bit, add it to the tie, and this time I twist 3 times to secure it, and then I take a glue stick to roll it down, and then you just fluff it. And I'll do this going all the way around. For the bottom or the outside ones, I fluffed those a little bit different. I just make it straight across at the top instead of a perfect X. Kind of looks like a bow. And I do that just because I don't want to cover up all the ribbon. I knew I wanted to make a bow, but I didn't want it to be very large, so I'm just making this smaller bow. I am going to try to use all the ribbon. The purple, I only had this little piece left up here at the top on the right, but I do incorporate that into here. And I'm doing about, I'd say 5-inch loops. And I've made a tail, and I'm doing 3 loops on each side. And then I just like to spread them out as I go so I can see where to add the next ribbon. I went ahead and dovetailed the ends of just that purple piece just to have it in the bow. And now I'm just going to continue with the, I think it's either 2-inch or 1.5-inch ribbons. I thought these colors worked so well together. All right, now I'm going to add the pink. I didn't have as much of the pink, so I didn't do 2 loops of each one. Since this ribbon has writing, I wanted them to be facing the same way, so I just took a piece of the conversation hearts and cut them. That way they would both be hanging down the right way. Then once I add everything in, the rest of the ribbon in, it doesn't make a difference because you can read it either way, especially once I fluffed it. And then I'll trim away the excess pieces of ribbon that I didn't need since I made my own tails. And now I just slide a zip tie through there just to gather it all together, and then I'll move it to the center where there's a crease, and then I'll slide a pipe cleaner through there before I tighten it. And I like to kind of fluff my bow before I completely tighten everything. And there I'm just trimming away the pieces that I didn't need from the Conversation heart ribbon. Yeah, sorry. And then after I liked the way my bow looked, I just stuck it to the side, and I'm going to work on my sign. So I couldn't figure out exactly what to do with this, but I picked up these really cute wooden signs from Dollar Tree, and they were wooden, so I didn't really like the way they looked, but I had some pink spray paint, and the pink was the exact same color as the lettering in the candies, the Conversation hearts. So I just spray painted it, and once it dried, I attached these pipe cleaners with my staple gun, and now I'm just going to connect them to the wire frame. You just push through the mesh and twist a few times, and then once I'm done with the wreath completely, I'll go back and make sure everything's secure on the back, and I'll shake it and stuff, making sure nothing's coming loose. Okay, now I'm just going to add my bow. I decided to put it at the top, and I wanted it really deep into the wreath. I didn't want it sticking up really high, so it would just be a part of the wreath. And then I attach it the same way as I did the sign. You just twist the pipe cleaners around. And then I'll just fiddle with it until I like the way it looks. But that's how I've made my adorable Conversation heart Valentine's wreath. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments below, or you can email me at craftingwithlee@yahoo.com. Thank you so much for watching. And if you learned anything today or liked my video, please like, share, and subscribe. Thank you.